Good morning and welcome to Morning Thought Reflections. This morning I have Lele, a very good friend of mine. Welcome, Lele, to Morning Thought Reflections.
Thank you, a very good friend of mine, Zibuselemi. Kunene ngiyabonga mnganami ukuthi ungibize ekuseni.
Mm,
Yeah.
yes. So what I usually do on Morning Thought Reflections is that you choose a morning thought and then we reflect upon it. But then when you have so much compounded into you over a period of time. So you don't necessarily have a specific morning thought.
Yeah, that's correct.
So what would you like to share or reflect
Um,
on?
what I would like to reflect on is mhlambe nje ngathi if I can put an umbrella on it, is that nature is the greatest teacher of all. And through the four seasons akhona, there is that is how we grow. That is where everything else is going on, Nevo. If it's winter for somebody and it's summer for you, oh well, it's great. But bear in mind that autumn is also coming for you. Spring is also coming for you. Unfortunately, that's not that. And omunye umuntu uzayibeke bluntly, else I'll put it in Tswana, but life njayanja. But it's a life cycle. You know? If you don't eat, you get eaten, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So that's just my reflection, Jay. Um, in a nutshell. You want me to talk more?
So nature and seasons.
Mhm. Ngicela ukuthi uphinde lokho.
No, bengithi mina it's nature and sorry.
Mhm.
Bengithi mina it's so
Sometimes
yeah, you were saying?
I'm saying sometimes we want to do something that is beyond us. Ngifuna ukufana nobani, ngifuna ukwenza more than what we fail to understand ukuthi you are exactly where you are supposed to be and you are exactly what you needed at that time to be. Awukho misplaced or whatever, awulahlekile. And if you are vulnerable at that time, it's because life wants you to be vulnerable at that time because it's your time for that time to be vulnerable. I don't know if I'm making sense. Just like you were a child at some point, life demanded you to be a child at that time. So if you are sad right now, i- i- nature wants you to be sad at that time because konzinto ekufuneka zenzakale, you know. If kunama rocks that will be just thrown into the river and then the water has to change the sequence of the move, vele kufuneke kwenzeke kanjalo because nature wants that picture at that time. The trick is not to stop the flow, just change direction but keep on flowing because kufuneka kwenzeke kanjalo at that time.
Yo. Yeah, you. So
I don't know.
uraf uraf already nje you've just gone into it. Um Mauti, when you're a child, nature demanded of you to be a child. When you were
Mm,
sad, nature demanded of you at that time for you to be sad. But why is it then that Uti, when we are in that state, we don't want to go through that flow? We don't want to get out. Sometimes we want to stay in it for too long. Let's take somebody who has lost a loved one, and they are now just ruminating on the loss. It's 5, 10 years, 20 years on. They're still crying about the same thing. They're still complaining about the person who died. What causes us to do that?
I know why you're asking me that question. um, I'm one person who's went through multiple losses. Yeah. Um, and in the end, people dwell on it too much. Listen, the days are not the same, but the thing that makes people to dwell on it too much, we fail to individualize ourselves. You would say, because ngulele, therefore Mrs. Matafeni. Mrs. Matafeni is a role I'm assuming. Being an employee at a company is a role I'm assuming. But individually, we fail to individualize ourselves in a sense yokuthi umuntu agcine usumuze sethi ngiphilele iy'ngane zami, ngiphilele umyeni wami. No, individualize yourself. Those people are in your life, but they are not your life. Inkinga yethu iqala lapho. Because angazi ngizoyichaza njani lento, siyabukhohlwa ubuthina, and some people even say, no, selfish. You're not selfish, but it's like uyisihlahla on your own, inature ikubeke laphayana, but ufuna ukudependa ngamagatsha esinye isihlahla for your survival. That is selfish. That is actually selfish. Because if that tree falls, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't grow, because you are still rooted to the ground. In fact, you are wasting fertilizer. You are wasting the earth's fertilizer to keep you alive, because you are no longer fulfilling your purpose. Instead, you are crying because of a fallen tree. You're failing to understand that that tree fell on the ground that is fertilizing you. You're selfish. Ukuwa kwakhe akukuvuselele ngoba akawelanga ndawo, uwelele emhlabathini lo ofida kuwo wena as a natural being. Instead, you must be even more fertilized, because umanyolo lo fertilizer you interacted with. Loss should make us stronger.
But it doesn't, and why?
Ngoba ngisho ukuthi sifeyila ukuzi-individualize. We identify ourselves through other people. That is why loss iba nzima. Nalento yokuthanda uku-owner. You know, I lost my mother. I lost the lady that raised me. Don't own God's creation. That is our problem. We own our children, we own our partners, we own our mothers, we own our parents. When they leave, you feel like they left you. They were taken away from you. Who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you? Who said you should own anything that is naturally given? Who gives you that entitlement? I lost my child. I lost this. It's okay. You were in a space where you shared what is called life with those people, but they were never yours to begin with. They were yours to share, to enjoy the journey. But angibona bakho akukona kwethu.
But then how do we then not, how do we avoid owner umuntu? How do we avoid owning things?
I didn't get the question, my friend.
Oh, ngithi mina, how do we avoid owning things and owning people? How do we make sure that?
Okay, something happened there. Angizwanga kahle.
Okay, which part did you not, that you missed? So I'm saying, how do we avoid owning things and people?
How do we avoid
owning things and people?
Or how do we avoid owning things and people? If you would recall, when we first spoke, I said nature is the greatest teacher. Walk around, look at life, look at nature, and get lessons from that. You you go to a point of when things like animals, eagles, the way they raise their children. After 2 weeks, I get you, they will put the thorns in the nest. Then they'll put this softer grass. And then after 2 weeks, they will remove the softer grass so that the children can feel the thorns. You understand? Then they'll be uncomfortable in the nest. The eagle will try to teach the child how to fly. Just a few days until they can fly on their own, and then let them be. That is how nature is teaching us. The eagle understands that life has to go on. This has to go on. Don't shelter too much. Don't. A friend of mine, Uzama, used to say to me, "Kids given to you, the reason being are funny, it's because they have to grow and they have to be there in your care, but they are individuals. Just treat them as if I'm aliens that just came to you, and but don't own them." And khona omunye umntwana ozofike uthi kuye sit down ahlale, kube khona ozothi if you don't sit down right now, they are all your kids, ne? If you don't sit down right now, I'm gonna take your toys. I'm gonna not take you to ice cream. Different methods, but same result. That is how we should approach life. Umganam, I like you. I love you. You are like a brother to me, but I shouldn't own you. Ngize ngikubona usihamba nomunye umuntu. Ulemi wayahamba nalo muntu iqala lapha inkinga. Ownership. We need to let go. Go with the flow. Nje, let's look at nature. Nature iyasifundisa. Look at it. Cabanga amafu menga-refuser ngelinye ilanga athi mina angifuni ukuthi kune imvula mina. Yimi ibhoza la. What will happen? Because at some point funeke awele phansi, evaporation iqale futhi kunyuke. Let's understand that. And yikho ngiyisupporta ne-theory ethi we've been here before. But that's a topic for another day. We've been here
Yeah.
before. And let's not be
Um,
selfish. We will leave this place. Maybe we'll come back, maybe we won't, but it's all about selfish.
yeah. I once read something, I can't remember how far back was it.
The difference in our children, is it meant to teach parents or is it for children themselves?
No, but before you go there,
I would say it's meant to teach us in a way.
uh,
Okay.
so I wanted to say, ask Uti,
The difference in
I
our children. Yes.
no, I wanted to ask something, Uti.
Yes, my
Um,
friend.
the I once read something, right, that says we shouldn't own things. So if you, for example, have a car, it shouldn't be my car. It should be the car that I use. So same as when it is a thing like a house, it's a home that I stay at. And I think where we at now, it's going to be hard to do that because we are used to owning things. But how do we learn to let go? Like we've had maybe 50 years of saying my parents, my child, my car, my this, my that. How do we teach ourselves, Uguti? This is now no longer something that I own. I must be at any point willing to let it go. Yeah, yes.
I didn't get that part, my friend.
So what I'm saying is, how do we get to a point where after many, many years of owning things, sizifundisa kanjani ukuthi sithi this is not mine. I need to accept that, yes, I am married to this person, but they are not mine. They belong to the world. They are here with me. I share the space and the life with them, but they are not mine. This house is, I don't own it. It is a place afforded to me by life to be here. how do I not own it? Ngathi yakufeyila nje le nto.
Um, I don't really get you right now, ngenxa I think there's something up with the network.
Okay.
You are cutting. You are cutting. Yeah, you are cutting. I can't hear you. I can just hear a glimpse of what you are saying. I don't know. Maybe we
Okay.
can re-ask the question. I don't know. Or how do we teach ourselves not to own?
Yes.
I think if the secret lies with understanding who we are and understanding that happiness, pure happiness, must come from loving yourself, must come from accepting yourself. The issue of not being fulfilled with yourself makes you want to own. If you can accept yourself and then say, this is Lele, this is me, I love me, and there's nothing wrong with that. Have your cup full so that whatever that drops out of it drops out in a saucer, and then you can offer whatever that is in your saucer, but never frustrate from your cup. Because the issue of ownership is when we start to give more than we're expecting things. Once you start expecting things, that is when you own. No, but I gave her this, therefore she's mine. Therefore she needs to dance to the tune of my music because I gave. I gave. The problem is when we give with expectation, that is when you start owning. When you do things to your children because you unale expectation ukuthi no, they are my kids, bazobuyisa ngelinye ilanga, that is the ownership iqala lapho. You give love to your partner, you want something else in return. That is where ownership starts. Give because you want to, and because you're having plenty. Love yourself, you'll have plenty of love. You're giving it out, and you still have a lot, as I say, then you don't own. But if you're gonna go out of your way with your last R5 and buy someone pie for R4, and then the person does not reciprocate that behavior, then siyaqala uyakwata sesiyaqala sifuna uku-own abantu. No, be it your child, your partner, your mother, don't own anyone. Love yourself first. Mase seliphophuma kakhulu seliliningi, then you can share it. Mawubona liyancipha, withdraw. Mawubona nje ukuthi liyancipha, there's nothing wrong, withdraw it. Withdraw it, pump some more, then give. Don't be on reserve for other people. No, don't be on reserve for other people. Manje wena usahamba ku-reserve awusafuni nokudrive. Make sure your tank is full.
Yeah.
Ube fulfilled, ube happy. Uzoyekela uku-owna-ke lapho.
So love is a giver.
Yes.
Love is a giver. How is it that if we are in a relationship nomuntu, umuntu athi, I want you to love me. But bona, they are not necessarily giving. So they're always expecting to receive. Hence, they're asking the other person to love them. Almost like Mozongena relationship. I want somebody who's gonna love me. I want somebody who's gonna take care of me. I want somebody who's gonna buy me gifts. So it's always about me receiving.
I think a problem about lapho. Remember, what you want or what you seek is what you lack. We go and look for jobs because we want money. Whatever that you seek is what you lack. So if you can't, it's a simple thing like love. For you that you're seeking it, it means that you need it. But manje, you are looking for it in a wrong place. If when you love yourself enough, if you love yourself enough, you will not demand it of somebody. You will know your self-worth. It's so beautiful ukwenzela umuntu something wazi ukuthi ngeke azaze akwazi ukukurepair ngisho esethanda. You know, you meet someone by the robot. Uyazi ukuthi ngeke uze uphinde. Let's say maybe you're driving to Rustenburg. Chances of you driving there again mancane. You meet someone, Lemi anginayo imali yokugibela ngiya kuphe mfethu ongizama. You're giving that person, uyazi ukuthi ngeke azaze akubuyisele and ama-chances okuthi niphinde nihlangane awekho. But trust me, the fulfillment ozoyithola after that, it's a heaven feeling. I remember once somebody asked me, how would you feel if you've been in heaven? I'm like, I've been in heaven so many times. Because that is a heavenly feeling, giving without expectation and knowing ukuthi ngeke uzuze uthole. That is how we should love. That is how we should love. Singathandi ngo-expecta. Ifana nokuthi uzothi mama, why mina ungangenzeli ngoba ngiyakuhlonipha ngenze. Kusho wena ungihlonipha because you're expecting something else. Same thing we do in our workplaces. Usebenze, you are in service of humanity. Usebenze. And thereafter, uyobuka kabi omunye umuntu who's doing your appraisal because you feel ukuthi ngisebenzile la. Therefore, yes, it's a process that is in place. But if that person doesn't recognize it, for the fact that when you've done it, should fulfill your heart. I remember my boss, Dala, used to even remind me, do you remember you initiated this? You remember it's, oh man, I just forgot. Because it fulfilled my heart. If you're going to record it, if you remember last year in Valentine, I bought you roses. If you're going to record it, that's not love. That's something else. I don't know what it's called. But if your mind is going to record it, it's not love. It's something else. A nigga situation.
Yeah, no. We are kuluma mntu. So here's a question. Is depression a season, or is it a state of mind? Is it an illness? I mean, I've never been in a depressive state, or I've never been depressed, so I wouldn't know. Therefore, I don't really want to say much for or against it, but I want to understand, what is it? Can we categorize it as a season?
Mina, I would say, putting it bluntly, as somebody who believes I've been through it, even though I wouldn't want to call it depression, but I would say depression is a thorn or eva eliklabayo along the road of life. And some people are comfortable with walking with thorns in their feet. Some people want to take it out. Some people just want to ignore it. But it's there. And I would say it's a negative force. It's a negative force. If I were to put it in a season form, I would say it's a winter for a summer child. And if when as a summer child do not want to embrace it and accept it, it clouds you. Winter, even if there's sun, you no longer see it because you allowed the season to consume you. You understand? Even in summer days, you must understand there are days that are actually cold, but it's summer. Even in winter days, there are days that are warmer, even though we winter. So for me, I would say it's a temporal situation. It depends on which are you making it permanent or not. There is medication ebakhona suppressing it. There's izinto ey'shiwoyo ukuthi gym more, talk to people more, do what that far, do yoga, do this, do that. But now I'm saying embrace it. You are powerful. If it's possible, chew the thing, swallow it, and excrete it.
Yeah.
Yep. Some swallow it. Some chew it, fail to swallow it. Some swallow it, refuse to digest it. Some digest it and just refuse to excrete it. So let the process ihambe, excrete it, leave it there, and move on. It's not as
Okay.
easy as it sounds, obviously, but once waqala wayi-ignore, walokhu uyiziba ngalesi khathi ithola i-dominance. Enye into efuna siyikhumbule, whether you're a Christian or not, khona la uvela khona, there is a source, and you are as powerful as i-source yakho la uvela khona. So be it depression, be it recession economically, be it pressures at work, be it pressures in a relationship, be it whatever. Before everything was created, kwakhona ulizwi wayethi, let's do this, let's do that, let's do that. That force eyayithi let's do that, you were within it. That is why amaroma aphinda athi sikanye naye sikuye. Demand things in your life. Sebenzisa izwi leli owasiza ngalo ukuthi kwakheke lo mhlaba uphila kuwona. Leli uwena owawukhona kuphefumulelwa u-Adam. You were there, you are part of it. Own it, claim it. It's with me, it shall be well. Sebenzisa ilizwi, because ngoba kuhlale kusho ukuthi whether you are saying you fail or not, you are right, these motivations and all of that, but we are failing to understand our power. I'm not saying that we are gods, but we are powerful because we came from a source.
Yeah.
And let's draw the strength from the source. Say, Yazin, if you are depression, makuthi not depression or natural, lalela. I'm a natural being, and nganike authority over everything that is existing. Lalela, you don't have authority over my life. Because mina, I was given superpowers over everything that is natural. You will not own me.
Yes.
They understand? You will not own me. Nganike authority mina ubaba. And whatever that I say is okwenzeka.
Yeah.
And say it ngokuyithemba. Lalela, ngiyazwa nje odokotela ubathithizisa ubenzani lalela. I'm from a higher source. You are in a wrong house. Get out. If you are in my house, it's fine. Woza-ke, I will swallow you. Uzo-excrete nje at some point. Because my body will not allow my chemicals are imbalanced. So at some point, I'm going to excrete you and I'm going to move on. And I might meet you again in a way, or I might meet something similar to you again in a way, but I will treat you exactly like that.
But only next time I'll be.
Exactly. Remember from the book of Genesis, kuze kuyovalwa, akukho la kuthiwa khona uSathane uselivini. Hayi ngoba manje-ke wanqotshwa uSawuli-ke akazange saba khona. Hayi ngoba uDavide-ke wamshaya uGoliath akazange saba khona. Uyayizama naye amandla. But if you look at the book, ngalesikhathi lokhu kuqhubeka, God is getting even more powerful, more powerful. So izinto ezinegative ezenzakala empilweni yakho must get you stronger. Be it loss, be whatever. Mina ngithi draw khona amandla. La ngalesikhathi uba challenge, uyajima mfana. Sijimile. Let your body ijime, let your soul ijime, let your mind ijime. It might feel like, oh, yilokhu kanti hayi ngakujimela lokhu. Ungenza ngazathi awunayo experience. Experience must teach us something. Khona into might feel, oh, ngathi kusimilar to this. Ungathi, why kimi kuhlale kwenzeka into wrong? No. It's because you awukakathephi into it.
You know, you
remind
me of something interesting. The first time they are tight, right? But if and it's tight and the next time uzama ukusifaka, it's still going to be tight. But if and tight as it is, you walk in it. And the more you walk in it, it stretches and it gets accustomed to your foot and it takes the shape of your foot. And then eventually that shoe is comfortable, right? What then do you think about leading oneself through fitting? And
You are such a naughty child. You know that. You're such a naughty child. God,
Ushaywa
leading
ngey'nduku
through
zakho.
such a naughty child. Leading through shoe fitting. That's actually a title of my book.
Or maybe before we even address leading, let's talk about living through shoe fitting
Okay,
as and then we can get to leading through shoe fitting.
yeah, that's. I can't believe you're doing this to me. Uh, that's quite an interesting and a deep thought, because when we say leading or living, there's quite a strong similarity there. Omunye umuntu uzosho ukuthi, hey, do this, do that, so that you can be leading a good life and whatnot. Um, Sometimes we say leading and then expect followers. You understand? And leading
Mm,
is actually living. Do you understand?
okay.
And shoe fitting is actually saying that I can understand another, and for me to understand another, that is when I understand self. That is the where the whole concept came in. When I thought of leading through shoe fitting, I was without a car. No, it was a strange thing. Okay, fine, angikhulanga ekhaya kunemoto, but having to not have a car, having used to have a car, ngigibela amateksi in foreign province, Gauteng, mina ngumuntu oseNatal, no, ngigibela ama-Gautrain, connector this and connecting that and connecting that. I was actually fitting into different people's shoes. And as tight as the shoes were, it was quite interesting because every day I'll have to fit in a shoe and no bullshit. Once you get used to it, kuba khona comfort ekhona. By the time the dealership was done with my car, I just wish they didn't finish because I just enjoy commuter, see people going through different things, learning. You know, most stimulating or taxing, you get to see things that you are not even aware of. And I just saw the beauty of life there. One day you will wear sandals, your toes are all outside to shower moya kamnandi. That is someone's life. You'll see someone odayisayo enza ipapa notshat in there. It's like, wow, this is beautiful. And from where I am, kukhona abantu abathi this person struggling. But looking at these people, this is life, man. Kahle kahle le nto engiyenzayo ngishawa i-aircon lapha emsebenzini ngi-frustrated. Ikona kuhlupheka-ke lo. So it was quite interesting for me. Ubona umuntu engena etekisini, abanye bayathandaza, omunye uzodayisa amasokisi, omunye ungena uyacula uphethe ama-chocolate namaphilisi ekhanda. Yeah, uphethe ikhanda nakho, siyamunca la, uswiti la, uchocolate la. And the world has taught us what those people are struggling and they're not. So yeah, I will release the book ngoba phela ngiyazi usufuna ukungifakela i-stress, but that is where the whole concept came in, and it taught me to understand the different people, from vendors to taxi drivers to the lady train ofika athi letha la ngisikene ikhadi ngi-check ukuthi linamalini, uyi-security. Thina mhlambe sithi hayi lo sisi uyahlupheka uyi-security. How many important people has she met and happy content nale concept ukuthi abantu abahlala emkhukhwini, they are dirty, they are what, those people are the happiest. Thina sibulawa ama-bond. But naye from where ame khona ubona ulele right. Mina uma ngibuka umuntu wasesentini ngimbona right. Umuntu wasesentini is yearning ukuthi ayolala eGomora one day, because nje ukulala eGomora alale eDlikota will give the person peace. So iyaba interesting that part of my life. Angazi, I just wished ukuthi ngabuyisela imoto again for another month and commute. I felt I didn't learn enough, even though I did, but there are situations that more throw away kuwo. If you don't decide to learn, you'll never learn. But ngayifundisa ukuthi learn, noma ngathiwa kwenzakalani, teach yourself, learn. So yeah, it was quite an interesting time of my life, and I'll never forget it. And you will get a copy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
you you mentioned izinto ezibalulekile. Sometimes I remember one politician was talking and saying, we've always had poor people amongst our midst, and it is only in a post-democratic era lapho kufike the concept of poor of the poorest. And then who put that there? How did we even get there? And sometimes some people, when you talk to them, uzokutshela ukuthi, I didn't know I was poor up until either someone said we were poor, or I saw something that was different to mine, which seemed and looked better than mine. You can find a child growing up having a mother and a father, but they're just getting by with little that they have. And in getting by with the little that they have, to that child, it is enough and they are happy up until somebody else comes and labels what they're going through as a particular, takes it and put it in a particular box, let me put it that way. So in life, we are used to
Mm.
people bastata and boxers, right? And boxers,
Mm-hmm.
Bati, wena Lele, you are a woman. Wena Zibu say you are a man, and therefore, as a man, you belong in that box. As a woman, you belong in that box. So we keep getting boxed in different boxes that exist. How do we teach
Mm-hmm.
probably the younger ones that, you know, it's okay not to belong to anything? It's okay not to be boxed into a particular place, or into a particular field. How do we get to live free spirited?
Yabona-ke leyo part leyo goes with the concept of saying sinalento yokuthi abantu bazothini. Now, ngaye ngayibuka lento ngingedwa, and who is abantu? Abantu bazothini? That is society. But where does this society comes from? These are people within families. So start at home. That is society. When they say abantu bazothini, that is you and your family. That is abantu labo. So start at home. Ngifundise the offsprings of mine that I have. Umfana wami has a big head, like they can't it's a joke, and whatnot. But I started at home to saying, esasemncane, yeah, uphi mfana onekhanda elikhulu. I would say, yazi le khanda lisho ukuthini? Le khanda lisho ukuthi you are smart. Angithi ngenzani manje ngichinje i-concept. Le khanda lisho ukuthi you are smart. And you will not believe how many awards he's received in his life because of that programming. Uyazi, futhi noma ungathi kuye, hey wena Siqhameza, ucomfortable. Because mama vele ungibiza ngosiqhameza. Then I look at the youngest, who assigned 8-year-old, small, very small bit. Bambiza ngobikimini. You can say anything to her, but you can never get to her about her statue. Yeah, when I'm picking in what I know, I'm small, I know. Dynamites come in small packages. I'm smart. My mom was also small when she was my age. So iqala lapho this thing yokuthi how do you live comfortable? Because siyile society, whenever we see something different, siyathuka. When we see something that is out of the norm, siyathuka. So when you see something that is out of the norm for society in your family, make it a norm. Ngithi nami ngangimncane kangaka. In fact, ekhaya, I remember they struggled to get me a size of the uniform. They had to get tailors, but atare this and this and that when I was in grade 1. So basically, baby ufuzuma, and look at Ma right now. Yes, so even a kuluma, so people will be like, hey, when I begin, I'm small. My mom was also small. I'm smart like that. Yabo. I'll even show her my videos ka DJ Spook. Ngithi buku DJ Spook khuluma kanjani. Uyadayisa, all right. You know people who talk like you, baby, they are successful. I know, mommy. We are successful like that. So susa i-abnormality uyenze ibe yi-normality. In fact, uyithathe iyenze i-dominance. Ngithi mina for the fact ukuthi ukhuluma kanje, you will go far in life. For the fact ukuthi uyayi-dynamite, that already gives you an upper hand. And umntana ukhula with that channel. And already they dominate. And that I learned from uma wangikhulisa ugogo. Ngangithi noma ngihluleka in life, ari bafukeng. Haona motho a hlolehang hae. Itse gogo, ngiyokwenza i-license, ngiyapanic. Wa tseba o tla kgutla le yona. Are in my family there's no such thing as failure. At that time, kukhuluma a person without a university degree, without even a certificate, but ubambe i-household through selling clothes, through selling this and that, a hustler. Actually, kahle ukuthi ekhaya sinaso isinyemfu thina, you will make it. So ngakhula naleyo nto ukuthi no man, thina vele ekhaya we're not failures. And it's what I'm transferring to my kids as well. So I think into sense ukuthi embrace what you have and take it uyenze ibe i-uppercut. So already sengibanikile ama-uppercuts labantu. Even if it's not only on your children, do it even with your friends.
Yeah.
Take your difference and make it an uppercut.
Yeah.
Ne?
You know, usho izinto ezibalulekile. I'm thinking now in terms of all these things that abanye abantwana would have used to almost destroy self-esteem yengane. Because the affirmation and the use of those seemingly odd characteristics about them, they were ngathini zishintshwe from ekhaya. Mase ziya ngaphandle, they no longer have an effect. But it's also conversely true ukuthi if we then teach our children ama values ekhaya, whatever values we've taught them, those values will help them go forward, and they will carry them with them as they go out into the world. But again, it's the concept of this thing pouring from an empty cup, that which is common again ukuthi, as you've said, ugogo used to say ukuthi asikho isinefu like hi. So now you learned not to be that. And then by learning that, you also taught that to your children. Now I'm putting all of this because then I want to ask you, Uguti, suppose I grew up in an environment or in a home where I have a big head and it was never used positively. It was never spoken of positively. And now I'm growing up, I have my own children. How do I change that narrative? Maybe starting by looking at myself and then teaching my children.
Yazi ukuthi uyishintsha kanjani leyo narrative. The beautiful thing about experiencing the negative in life, khona umuntu wakwabhala ku social media ethi some of us did not have role models, but we had people that we say, I don't want to grow up like that. That shouldn't be me. Instead of saying that should be me. And when we grow up, a lot of kids will say, I want to be like my mom. I want to be like my dad. But you'll find there are kids that are saying, I don't ever want to be like my mother. because mama
Yeah.
was a negative somebody. So that is how you twist it. That is how you twist it. Ukuthi, I went through this, no child of mine will go through that. So you take all that negativity, uyishintshe uyenze a positivity in your life.
Yeah.
Uthatha njengoba injalo, flip it over. Flip it or take it as a coin, flip it over. Okay, my father was never available, I'll be available. My father never gave us money, I'll give my wife money. My father used to beat me up every day. I won't beat my kids, we'll speak. Thatha konke lokho njengoba kunjalo and make an opposite of it.
Yeah.
But in the same breath, don't lose it. Sometimes we want to give our children the best and we forget that in the dishing of the worst that we received, it builds the character that we have right now.
Okay.
Ngathi mina azange size sikhule ngama-Kellogg's, ngama-fish finger and what not. Therefore, I want to buy my kids these things. And there's nothing wrong with that, but my kids bayakwazi lema ukuthi what is it ukudla ipapa namaqanda. They understand ukuthi, it's there endlini, but they should understand ukuthi such and such can also be eaten and there's nothing dehumanizing about it. Uyakufaka lokho what you didn't have and what you had that made you who you are. Right now, isikole sabo kunento ethi wear crazy socks, wear different kinds of socks, and then you pay 10 rand and whatever the case might be. You'll be shocked ukuthi yibo abathe, mama, we don't want to do that. Ngithi mina why? Why should there be a prize? Where is the money going to? If the money is going to the poor, by all means, we'll do it. But they must explain to us where these 10 rands are going. If they're not explaining, then why do it? Angizange ngithi abenze lento, but I think the way I'm raising them to ask questions. There was a photo shoot, I think 2 months back. Get mina guys, ngizothatha ni 100 rand for photos, but mama, you can print out photos always Westgate. We have photos for grade 1 and whatnot. Why are we having photos now after lockdown? It doesn't make sense. People should be saving money. They lost a lot of things during lockdown. What is the school gonna do about it? No, but they lost a lot of money. Maybe the camera guy wants to do money. There's no, if he wants to recover, he must sell the pictures at half a price because also the people that are paying are also going through what he is going through.
Yeah.
They stress me sometimes, believe me, but the way they are thinking, young impress because they are not fed on what to think, but you know, because what I want to do, live an independent human being. I cried when she left, but I said, you left, but you gave me the manual of life. Farewell. You gave me the manual to life. Farewell.
Thank you for that.
So Gunjalo, my friend.
Now, as we heading towards closing this session, I want us to go back to seasons. Right. How do you navigate the season of loss? Deep loss. Loss of someone you truly loved, someone that you were really close to. It could be for someone else a best friend. It could be for someone else a wife, a husband. It could be a child. It could be anyone, but someone who was more like your pillar. How do you navigate that season?
It's not easy. Then I'm going to tell you that it's not easy, but it's doable. Like I said, maskuluma ngama seasons, you need to understand one thing. We're not gonna get out of this life alive. That is point number one. None of us is getting out of this alive. And if you understand ukuthi in a journey, some things some people are gonna uh, fall off, or some people are gonna reach where they are going while we still going. Leyo nto leyo izokwenzela ukuthi wenze more sense about life. Bathina abantu bathi live this day as if it's your first day or your last day, whatever. But if you're
That's
embracing life and understanding what, yes, nothing is permanent. Ngoba kungekho permanent, also try and enjoy, like treat every day as a gift, because as you are going through a loss now, one day people that are close to you will be mourning you. Kufuneka ukufake ekhanda lokho. But then again, would you want when people leave, when you leave, people bahlale be-stuck? If you truly love somebody, do you think ukuthi they would want you to be stuck? Put yourself in a person's shoes. Kade ewubhesti wakho, nithandana, ni-close. The person that had so much love for you, do you think they'll want to see you still in that zone? Really? Sometimes yeke ukuba ukuyicabangela wena-ke ucabangele lo muntu ongale. Let's say useqhubekile nejeni, usebukele emuva, mebuka emuva uloke kubuka ukhala. How do you think the person feels? Asike sithi awenzeli-ke wena-ke as a giver, as a lover, as a person who sees life. Cabangela yena, ucabanga ukuthi ufila kanjani? Don't you think they'd want to see you smile? They'd want to see you happy? If you're not gonna heal yourself from your own perspective, heal yourself from the perspective of the one that has left. Cabangela
whoa.
yena. Then that is where we
Yeah.
get healing.
Yeah. Heal yourself from the perspective of the one who has left.
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
And then come this thing, your time frame. Is it fair for us to put a time frame to someone's loss, to someone's grieving process, or to someone's mourning?
It's I would say it's not fair in a way, but then again, ngoba ngisho ukuthi nature teaches us. There's something ukuthi ugogo used to tell me. I don't know if it was a secret or not, but ugogo used to say to me, even if you want to move on or you want to do whatever that you do, lo 6 months lo osukubekiwe naturally is for inyongo to burst, ne? And then lo nyaka, because I know Nguni people, Zulu people, they'll put on unyaka wokuzila and whatnot. That is for umhlaba ukuthi uhlangane nomzimba. Then along the graveyard, ngalesikhathi kuzovela utshani bukhule. That means that which was of nature has returned to nature, and nature has accepted it. Sekhula ukhula ethuneni, which means lokho bekuyimvelo sekubuyela emvelweni, usungaqhubeka nempilo. That is how they were teaching us. But mostly bigger from a scholar point of view, bazofike bakutshela abazama-nerves ukuthi that is why you can't go through a breakup ube right, because when you are hugging a person, when you are kissing a person, your sensors in your body, your skin sensors, there's something that they are yearning for, that they are used to. That is why you ukhala ngoba akasekho. Even your body ikhalela this touch that it got used to it. That is why kuthiwa ngizoba nyamanye khona lento le ebikade ikuwe. So it takes some time for the memories, for the sensors in your body to say akasekho, ayisekho, the mind and everything else in your body ihile. Mayingabe singasekho isifile dead after 6 months or a year, then that is why kwaqala lento zama-time frame, because everything in our bodies, in our mind, in a memory. That is why kunzima ukuthi uhluleke i-breakup noma sebekhuluma igama elingathi liyela ngaku-L, mhlawumbe uhlukene nolimi. Makufika umuntu ethi, hey, letha le stress, because your mind is waiting for the gama elithi Lemmy. It connects everything else quickly. Lemmy, my boyfriend, fike picture yakhe, fike all of that. Because I think there was babezamela ama-sensors, the body sensors, the mental sensors, the emotional sensors, to heal first before you move on. Babenzela lokho abantu abadala. There was always wisdom in Africa. So kwakwenzelwa lokho. So angazi noma
Wow.
ku-relevant manje or not, but I don't think we've changed that much. But makuthi khona indlela ekwenziwa ngayo izinto, I'll say respected from a cultural perspective as well. There was a reason behind. Noma
Yeah.
singesayazi reason, but yeah, there was a reason behind. Abanye they
Yeah.
can heal after 2 weeks and whatnot and whatnot, but I don't really believe it's total healing. Because nama psychologist will tell you there's a different stage to mourning and whatnot. There are people who lost abantu even right now. Ma screen savers zabo, you will find that person. Efonini yakhe usamfake as that person.
Yeah.
We heal differently. I mean, I've never put anybody as a screensaver after a loss.
Yeah.
Mhlambe kungangithatha isikhathi ukudelete number. We heal differently, but i-time frame yayibekelwe lokho. Physically, mentally, and to respect nature. Linda at least kukhule ukhula, i-nature ihlangane nevela kukho, then you can move on. Kwakwenzela izizathu. There was a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I must be honest with you. I'm not happy with you.
Whatever. Why?
I am not. You have so much
Why?
wisdom. You have so much wisdom, ne? And
Yeah.
uthathe bonke lobuhlakani obufaka esikhwameni, wathatha isikhwama wasifaka ewardrobe-ini. And imagine
Ngakhiya
how
wardrobe.
wakhiya iwardrobe, waze wakhiya ne-room lapho kunaleyo wardrobe khona, wakhiya indlu, wavala amagate, washaya ingidi. You know, and
Yeah.
I'm glad I pushed you towards having this conversation. And now I see why. You know, there is so much that, imagine, I have learned. There's so much insight I've gained. And imagine then somebody who is going through the different things that we've talked about, how they will get to heal, how they will get to introspect and reflect. And there are certain things that I get to hypothesize, and then over time they get proven. That everyone we see in our public spaces has nothing compared to those who are out of the public eye, out of the public ears. So it is my wish that we get to hear different voices, new voices, see new faces more and more, because there is so much wisdom, and not just on your general topics. Let's engage in different topics. There is so much to uncover. There is so much yet still to share. And I want to thank you, Ganam, from the bottom of my heart for doing this, for agreeing. And it's not the last one. I'm still gonna come knocking on your door.
Okay.
So next time I knock, you know, Uti, I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna knock until you open that door. So be
Yeah,
ready.
and whether you can be very persuasive.
Yeah. So be ready for that time. And I want to thank you.
The pleasure is all mine. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. And I also like to thank you. I've been shying away from the knowledge, like you're saying. I've been shying away from myself a lot. Ngiyabonga ukuthi you actually forced me to do this, persuaded me to do this. It also gave me a certain perspective, and I've been talking about selfishness. I think I also need to stop being selfish from my side. There is a lot that I need to vomit out, or cough it out, that might heal a lot of people. And I think ngivalele, if it was possible, bengizothi I'm withholding something from the very nature that I proclaim to care about. So I'm willing to let things out now, share more with people,
Thank you.
and yeah,
So look out for Lele's book,
ngiyabonga.
Leading Through Shoe Fitting. You have been watching and listening
Thank you.
to Morning Thought Reflections with Lele Matafeni. Angithi usasebenzisa Matafeni? Also ubuyele kamfu.
Yebo.
Okay. So you have been watching and Thought Reflections with Lele Matafeni. Thank you for tuning in. Have a blessed day.